lately I've begun to hear a strange contradiction. On the one hand, some will say, the canon wasn't settled until the Reformation, or even as late as the Council of Trent. The fathers argued endlessly, there was no agreement. But then, when it suits their argument, the very same voices turn around and insist, no, the canon was settled much earlier, precisely so they can justify cutting out the Deuterocanon. In other words, the canon is unsettled when defending Protestant innovations, but it is settled when it can exclude books long received in the church. You can't have it both ways. These arguments may sound persuasive at first, but they always collapse when we examine history. Yes, the fathers argued. Jerome doubted, Origen speculated, Athanasius had his list, Augustine had his, opinions abounded. But here is the crucial point. Opinions were not final. The church never left the canon to be determined by the private judgment of even her greatest minds. The final word belonged to the councils and to the magisterium of the church. Already in the late 4th century, the councils of Rome in 382, of Hippo in 393, and of Carthage in 397 and 419 all listed the same 73 books Catholics have today. Pope Innocent I in 405 confirmed that canon in a letter. That means over 1,000 years before Luther, the church had already spoken with unity and authority. So when Jerome hesitated, what happened? He bowed to the church and translated all of the books, including Tobit, Wisdom, Sirach, Judith, and the Maccabees, into the Vulgate, the very Bible that became the foundation of Western Christianity. That's the Catholic principle. Scholars may dispute, brilliant minds may weigh in, but when the church, through her councils, defines a matter, that decision is binding. Contrast that with Protestant polemicists who love to quote Jerome's doubts as if they trump the councils. But Jerome himself didn't act like a Protestant. He submitted. He translated the canon he had questioned because the church had declared it. And that's the irony. Protestants appealed to Jerome while rejecting the exact mechanism that Jerome obeyed, the authority of the councils and the Roman See. So let us be clear. There was diversity of opinion, but there was not a diversity of canons. Local usage may have lagged in enforcement because of geography or custom, but the canon itself was settled in the 4th century or late 4th century, reaffirmed through the Middle Ages, and solemnly defined at Trent only because the reformers had reopened what had long been closed. The Reformation brought uncertainty and instability to the canon. This is of course due to Martin Luther questioning a number of books. Now of course Protestants will claim, but look at these Catholic fathers that also questioned these books. But as we've just explained, their individual opinions do not matter. What mattered was what was authoritatively defined by the councils and by the church itself. These Catholics submitted ultimately to the authority of the church. However, Martin Luther, Calvin, they acted individually with no one to oversee their decisions. They made decisions unilaterally as Pope and church all rolled into one. Now, the church has always understood that the canon is not a matter of preference. It is a matter of spirit-guided authority. I hope you find this information useful. I hope you find it edifying. Thank you for listening to the end. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.